Yo, and how's it going, Apple Army? Welcome back to the Gaming Apple. So today I'm doing my STAMPLAR 1vx PvP build for the Blackwood patch. And for any STAMPLAR mains, you are going to want to see this build. This is awesome. So without any further ado, let's get right into the video. I'm going to go over stat sheet first then. So I'm going to buff up Rally, Pot, and just my armor buff, and we're going to just quickly check our stats. So front bar, 15.5k magic, 27k health, 27k stamina, 3.1k stamina recovery, don't care about the health recovery, 700 magic recovery, with 4.5k weapon damage, 31% crit, 29k spell, and 26k physical, up to 2.6k crit resistance. So on the front bar, looking really strong, and then on the back bar, then we go up to 32,400 spell with 29,800 physical resistance, and then 3,100 crit resistance with the same amount of stamina recovery and still a respectable amount of weapon damage there on the back bar and 28k health. Okay. I put 64 points into stamina. Getting the stamina up this patch has been a real drain for this build. So 64 points in stamina. Serpent Mundus, we need that stamina recovery. Like, we do see over 3k stamina recovery on my Stam DK build, and now we're on this build too. 1vxing this patch requires more recovery. It's just as simple as that, because the CP nerf to cost reduction of break free, roll dodge, sprint, all that good stuff. Yeah, we need more stamina recovery. Then I'll tell you takeaway broth. I did test this as a vampire, by the way, and I didn't want to go any more stamina recovery. If you wanted to be a vampire for the 30% damage mitigation at stage 3, it gives you 8% cost increase to all skills, so all ability skills. So you would need more stamina recovery from that, and I just didn't want to put any more stamina recovery into this build, which is why we are not a vampire. Right. Back bar, then we are running critical repost. Defending sword, you can use powered here if you want to. Powered, defending, either one's fine. For the crit resistance, really nice against those high damage gank builds that are around right now. Deadly front bar, deadly maul. I mean, deadly is just bread and butter in my opinion for STAMPLAR. Weapon damage, weapon crit, weapon damage, and then it gives you 20% increased damage to jabs. I mean, that's our spammable. 20% increased damage to our spammable, and that is the that also applies for the damage over time effect of Thornbreaker as well, which is awesome. So yeah, deadly is such a great set, and then we're going for a maul sharp and just up that penetration. Then Balorgs. Balorgs is awesome. Just think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. Balorg gives you a crap ton of penetration, right? Crap ton of penetration. Then we have this skill here, which gives 6k penetration. This skill here that gives 3k penetration. So that's 9k penetration from two skills if we're going for, if you know, we're pure focusing that target. And then we get another 7k here, right? So it's 16k penetration. And then on top of that, like 16k max penetration. And then on top of that, you've got Balorgs. So you can up your penetration massively. What's this? 400 Balorgs. I'll just do a quick test now. So 400 Balorgs, and we are now up to 17,000 penetration with our 9,000. So what we're looking at, 26k pen there just from 400 Balorgs. You get the point. We won't always be at 26k pen, but we can go up to a crap ton of pen. And you might be thinking 26k pen is way too much. Yeah, probably is overkill, right? But we don't get up to 400 Balorgs all the time. We're usually about 200 Balorgs. And it gives us the amount of weapon damage and penetration that we need. I mean, I didn't even buff up my rally there either. So I'm with people running over 30k resistances on this patch. Like, so many people running 30k plus resistances. Penetration is so massive. So massive. Yeah. So that's why we're rocking that high penetration. Then moving on then to our configuration, we are running 5 medium, 2 heavy, my bad. Yeah, 5 medium, 2 heavy. Chest and legs are pariah in heavy to get the maximum out of it. We're only running 1 reinforced. Usually I would run 2 reinforced, but I'm running 1 reinforced because I'm trying to up that crit resistance. So 1 reinforced chest piece with the big pieces being, 3 big pieces being max stats, and then the little pieces are like 3 big pieces are tri, then the little pieces are stamina, a power 1 extra that is just tri, and then what is it? Yeah, so pariah, max health, armor, and then up to 10k extra resistances. I mean, I won't show you here, but like, it's on both bars, so we have it on both bars. We have it on the, because of the heavy set, we wanted to run medium, so it's on the jewelry. It's on the jewelry pieces here. I got 2 stam recovery infused and then 1 weapon damage. I mean, the stam recovery is key this patch, guys. Stam recovery is key. We got enough damage. If you've been watching my streams, we can nuke people. It's about sustaining the X situations now, which does it great. And then we just become tankier the lower health we go with Pariah. So our resistances go through the roof, which is awesome. It is really awesome. Yes, that's about it for gear. Let's move on to the potions. I didn't do the potions. So we got, I run these ones. So knockback immunity, which is great. Then we have major expedition, and then stamina. Those are the ones I run. It helps negate the cost of race against time sometimes, and you just run a potion, and you got a lot of speed. I don't feel like we need armor pots because we are running Pariah, so we really didn't need armor pots. But you can run tri-stats as well, so I switch between tri-stats and speed pots. So when my magic is dropping low, when I'm really struggling for magic, like say, you know, have to cleanse a lot of time, I'll just swap to a magic pot, like a tri-pot, and then that'll sort me out. And so yeah, you can just rotate between the two guys. That is completely up to you. Then on to the skills then. So race against time, it is our speed, our snare removal, and then it gives us 10% extra critical damage. And for this build, we are loving critical damage because in here, right, we get 10% extra crit damage in general when we have a spear ability slotted. So when we're jabbing, we got 10% extra critical damage. This gives us 20% extra critical damage. Then we go over to our race with Khajiit for the health, magic, and stamina recoveries. Then max health, magic, stamina, so really good overall stats there. And then 12% extra crit damage and crit healing there. So that gives us 12% crit healing, and we go up to 32% crit damage. And then if we briefly just check into the CP, we got the points in here. So it's another 10% crit healing and crit damage. That takes us up to 22% crit healing and 42% crit damage at max. Paired with a crap ton of penetration and then a decent amount of weapon damage, which is then scaled by deadly to put our jabs up at a really nice level at 3,000, nearly 3,900. So that really nice jabs. You got to remember that there's a lot of penetration stacked in there. Like most times I run builds with 4,000 jabs, but this build has got a crap ton of penetration and then Balrogs on top with a lot of crit damage. So that's a very nice base to be scaling from. Very nice base, especially for our for our damage. Cleanse then. Cleanse is awesome. I mean, it removes 5 negative effects from us. It heals us if we stand in it, and then we get the minor mending, which is here. So wait, where is it? Yeah. Is it minor mending? It is minor mending, yeah. Minor mending, increasing your healing done by 8% while stood inside of it. So that ups our healing as well. That goes for the rune as well. And the rune did get changed. So this gives us now 6k resistances like always. But now, along with the stamina that you get for having it active, we now get healed every 1 second for 1,700, scaling off max health. It used to be increased resistances while stood in the rune, but now they decided to give us increased healing. I like this change. I mean, it just gives us extra healing on top of itself. If I stand on it, so put this heal down, we'll put this heal down, and then we'll put the vigor on, and you can just see the heals ticking in there. You can literally just see the heals ticking in there, which is an awesome thing to see. Right, especially with healing being a bit harder this patch. Moving on to Caltrops then, we already went over this. So Caltrops is great for Stamplar. I love it on Stamplar. Gives us our fracture, so 6k penetration, and then it reduces their movement speed by 50%. We don't really use that as much, but it does help us in choke points. So we'll just demonstrate a choke point here. So we'll call this a choke point. We'll chuck that in behind us. We'll chuck that in there. That would everybody would have to come through this choke point. So everybody would get their resistances debuffed, and they'll be a bit slower coming through it, and then you can turn around, do a jab into a Dawnbreaker, or you can turn around and do a heavy attack Dawnbreaker into jabs. The reason why we would do a heavy attack is because of the follower passive. So when you complete a fully charged heavy attack, your next direct damage attack used within 7 seconds will deal an additional 10% damage. So we do a heavy attack into a Dawnbreaker, we get 10% increased damage on Dawnbreaker, and they'll have increased they'll have reduced resistances due to our increased penetration. Okay, moving on to Vigor then, yeah. Bread and butter, Vigor, you need it for the heal. Spell Wall, if you want to be more defensive and actually have a reliable defensive ulti, I would go Spell Wall, but you can also go Temporal Guard. I mean, Temporal Guard I like, and I have been using on stream for the minor protection, but it's been driving me crazy with all the bugs. I hit Temporal Guard, and I actually died mid-Temporal Guard. So in my transition, like, whilst I'm actually teleporting, I died, which is impossible. You shouldn't be able to die whilst in the Temporal Guard. It's supposed to put you back. You're supposed to be immune for that brief phase, going backwards, because you can't be getting hit. You literally aren't in existence. You are being teleported, right? So you can't die right there because you're going back in time. To a point where you have more stats. And sometimes I go back to a point where I don't even have more stats, I have the same stats, or I die mid-effect. So for a defensive ulti, it is really shocking how buggy it is, but for the minor protection, that's like the reason I would run it. But then Spell Wall, you can put this down literally nearly for the same ult cost, so 7 more ult cost. So the ult cost there is pretty good. I think it's, what is it? Yeah, it's the same, just a bit more than Dawnbreaker, which is great. Yeah. You can put that down, be really defensive, and you'll have your Balrogs, and you can go into jabs. Yeah. It's your choice on that one, guys. Camel Hunter. So, literally, for the major savagery, it gives us our weapon critical, but we get the weapon critical through jabs anyway. I meant it's mainly for the increased minor berserk, so we get 5% increased damage done when we're flanking enemies. And you'll see how easy this is to proc now. With jabs, you proc it so easy. Right, literally, say you just come to the side a little bit, right? Yeah, literally right there. You proc it. And it stays up there for 5 seconds. So you just going around your target. You keep this up, no problem. Honestly. You keep that up, no problem. And then when you got 3-4 guys on you, it does the trick. It really does do the trick. I'm not sure if you can proc off that. Does it proc off that? Yeah, it does. It even procs off caltrops. So you caltrops, jabs, Dawnbreaker. You got loads of ways to proc it whilst you're moving around. So great skill. And then it ups our weapon damage as well from being a fighter's guild skill. So having a fighter's guild skill increases our weapon damage done by 3%. We have 2 fighters guild skills done, so we get 6% increased weapon damage on our front bar there, which is always really nice. Okay. Then we got Power of the Light. Power of the Light is really nice, so reduce their resistances by 3k again. This would be your execute slot, but I don't feel like I need an execute on Stamplar. I've got enough damage. I can burn people well enough as it is. So I use this just for additional pressure into an execute when they burst Dawnbreaker jab combo. And this can blow up for a lot when you're doing crit damage, like high crit damage that's been penetrated. So yeah, I really enjoy this skill. Rally, it gives us our brutality, so increased weapon damage by 20%, our recovery, so minor endurance increases stamina recovery by 15%, which is awesome. Great for sustain, great for damage, great for healing. And then it gives us our burst heal by there. Just our burst heal, not much more to be said about that. Sorry, pardon me. And jabs then, it reduces their movement speed by 40%, and then it just does major damage on them, which is awesome, and gives us our major savagery. Think about it like this. If you actually put caltrops down in a small area, so caltrops in a small area, and then jab them, caltrops does 50% movement speed, jabs does 40%. You can reduce their movement speed by 90%. By 90% by having caltrops and jabs at the same time. Just to give you some representation. So if they're coming through a choke point, you got all that down, jab into Dawnbreaker, you can really hold some players in there and nuke them, which is awesome. Binding Javelin, I switched out this patch from... So I switched from Focus Charge, to Javelin this patch because I use this with Radiant Sweep. And the reason I don't use Radiant Sweep this patch is because last patch, in the proc patch, I didn't use Balrogs, so it was nice to have Fast Fire ulti that did literally the same amount of damage as Dawnbreaker. But now, now that I'm saving up ultis, I feel like I might as well run Dawnbreaker to, save up more ulti cost, and then you get that AoE stun dot on them, and the extra weapon damage from it being a fighter's guild skill. I see more benefit from running Dawnbreaker this patch instead of Radiant Sweep like I ran last patch. And Radiant Sweep was great with Focus Charge because you could set people off balance. You could set people off balance. You didn't have to stun them. You could do a sweep, then medium wave to stun them after being set off balance. So there were some great combos in there for that. But with Dawnbreaker just being an instant stun, I just feel like I should run Javelin for it being a stamina ability and doing a bit more damage as well. So that is the reason we're running Binding Javelin this patch over the Gap Close. Okay, moving on to the champion points then. So for our green CP, I always say this, use this CP here for the reduction damage to full damage by 55%. Then rationer for the item takeaway if it's too expensive and you just need to increase that timer. Potions, always nice, increase movement speed outside of combat, and then maybe some out movement speed, but that's all up to you guys. Choose what you need to have. So for our slottables, the 4 slottables that I've gone for are crit resistance. I went for increased crit resistance, damage reduction to single target abilities for 10%. I have this on every single build, awesome. Crit damage, we're a crit heavy build, which is awesome, so yeah, this stacks very nice. And then to the damage done by, what is it? Increased damage done with direct damage, attacks by 10%. Now you could switch out the crit damage by 10% for the AoE. This would increase Dawnbreaker and jabs by 10% anyway, but this gives us a more defensive approach as well for the increased crit healing, which we've stacked into quite nicely. So I think this one would actually give you more offensive pressure, but this one has more of a balance to it, and it works well with our crit build anyway. So that's the reason why I went for this one. Right, then I have Boundless Vitality, increase our health, armor, rejuvenation for our try recoveries, and then Juggernaut, so when we break free or pop in a mobility pod, we take 10% less damage. Now in all honesty, you can switch out this one. You could switch out this one for this one down here. In all honesty, you really could put this one on for the extra sustain, with sustain being very difficult this patch. But that's up to you. If I was on a bow build, I would run that, and I think I'm going to be switching to this one on my DK as well, because that is a great sustain. Every 30 seconds you get a free roll dodge. In an X, that really does help out. But yeah, guys, I think that pretty much covers the video. Oh, I'll go over the rotation. Yeah, we'll do a really quick rotation. So we'd always put a caltrop down. We'll buff up, we'd come to target, we would put our ruin down always for resistances, maybe do a cleansing ritual into a rally, make sure you're buffed up. Then I would chuck caltrops on them, and do a light attack, put power light on, light attack jabs. If I get snared or something, I'll put the race against time on. So instead of using cleanse, I would use race against time, so that we're getting the crit damage whilst being aggressive. Then I'd do a jabs into, say, a Dawnbreaker. So like one jab, Stormbreaker, and wait for the power light to explode. But I mean, it's really simple. If you don't have Dawnbreaker, just do the caltrops into light attack, power the light, into one light attack jabs, then light attack into a javelin, light attack jabs, and I mean, they should be exploding. And I keep stressing light attacks because if you can get your light attacks in, you do a lot of extra damage with light attacks, which is awesome. The amount of damage that I do with light attacks is major. I think, yeah, that just really bugged there. Holy shit. I'll do that again. What the delays in this game are crazy, honestly. Yeah. But, I mean, I'll do something like that, and I keep jabbing. But, I mean, the combo is simple. You just need to learn how to sustain. But, yeah, guys. Without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did find it helpful, then please be sure to smash that like button. Drop a comment down in the comment section down below, because I always love to hear from you guys about anything. So if you have any questions, queries, or you just want to say you like the build, go into the comment section, because I always love to hear from you guys. And then subscribe, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already, to become part of the Apple Army and stay up to date with all my latest content here at the Gaming Apple. We've been growing amazingly recently, guys, and that's all thanks to you guys. That's all thanks to the Apple Army, so thank you guys so much for that. And if you haven't joined the Discord already, the link for the Discord is down in the description below. I'd love to see you guys over there. I'll let you guys know when I'm going live, any updates on builds, future content, or you just want to chat in general. I do all that stuff in my Discord, so if you're interested in that, come join the Discord. Without any further ado, guys, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out for now. Bye-bye.